Please remain standing for the singing of the Philippine National Anthem. May we request everyone to please remain standing for the invocation led by Deputy Director General Attorney Norma Tanyag.
Let us put ourselves in the presence of the Lord, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Most merciful and compassionate Creator of the universe, and all good things in the world, we adore and we thank you for each and every one who is here with us today. Celebrate PEZA's annual Investors Recognition Day. And bless us with the very
You may now be seated.
To our esteemed guests, awardees, media partners, partners in the public and private sector, ladies and gentlemen, to each and everyone joining us here at the PEZA Auditorium and via Zoom. Welcome to PEZA's Investors Recognition Day and our esteemed guests, awardees, media partners, partners in the public and private sector. 25, soaring high, making the Philippines an investment haven in Asia. I am Raymond Hava.
And I am Jessica Tongan.
We welcome you to the annual PEZA Investors Recognition Day 2021.
It is another time for us to acknowledge the enormous and very considerable contributions of our eco-zone locators, developer operators, and other stakeholders to the country's socio-economic growth and development, especially during this time of pandemic. Prior to the start of 2020, PEZA used to conduct its investors recognition event at the World Trade Center with more than 3,000 attendees composed of investors and partners. Because of the new normal, we have come together humbly in this PEZA auditorium with the year's awardees with joyful and grateful hearts of good health and continued hope that we have in our present and the future ahead of us.
To acknowledge our esteemed guests and participants this afternoon, may we call Mr. Alim Siddiq Giapal, the Group Manager of the Promotions and Public Relations Group.
Thank you very much, Jessica and Raymond from the Mactan Economic Zone. This day is dedicated to our more than 1.6 million ecozone workers, our 417 ecozones in the country, and of course, our locators who are present here today to be recognized by the leadership of the Philippine Economic Zone Authority and of course, the Department of Trade and Industry. In the role, allow us to acknowledge Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, joining us in today's podium, online via Facebook page, in our YouTube channel of PEZA, Minister and Secretary Ramon Lopez, PEZA Board Chairman, Department of Trade and Industry Secretary, sir. Sir, allow us also to extend our congratulations for your recognition being one of the People of the Year 2021 given by People Asia. Magandang hapon po. The Director General and one of the co-authors of the very institutions he currently serves, Brigadier General Charito Ching Plaza, recently cited by the Asia CEO magazine World Class Filipino Brand of Excellence. Good afternoon, Ma'am DG. Deputy Director General, Mr. Tereso Panga. Sir, good afternoon. Deputy Director General, Attorney Norma Tanyag. And joining us online, Deputy Director General JP Jacinto from the Administration and Finance. In the list, we have Her Excellency Anke Rapunzel, Ambassador of the Embassy of Germany in the Philippines. Good afternoon, Her Excellency. The President and CEO of IT and Business Process Association of the Philippines, Mr. Jack Madrid. From the Philippine Association of Multinational Companies Regional Headquarters Incorporated, Mr. Leste Ilagan. From the Semiconductor Electronic Industries in the Philippines Foundation, Mr. Danilo Lachica. Members of the board from the Department of Labor and Employment under Secretary Ana C. Done. From the Department of Finance, Assistant Secretary Dakila Elton M. Napal. Good afternoon. From the Channel Infotech and Call Center, we have Mr. Graham Pinar and Mrs. Amanda Pinar. Representing the Philippine Navy, Captain Joel Simbulan and his party. From the PACC, Attorney Yvette Cantaco, Commissioner. Good afternoon. The Chairman, of course, of the Global Dragon Properties Corporation, Chairman Edgar Injapsia. Good afternoon, sir. President of the Double Dragon Properties Corporation, President Ferdinand Sia. Good afternoon. From the Coco Finance, President Rehan Batlao, and also Attorney Marilu Chan, Head of the Loan and Services Department. Good afternoon. From the Rhodium Builders Incorporated, Principal Architect Jeffy Evangelista. Joining from the same office is Ms. Princess Angelica Consing, the President of the Rhodium Builders Incorporated. From the Embassy of the People's Republic of China, Mr. Charlie Go. Good afternoon. From the Federation of the Filipino Chinese Chamber of Commerce and Industry Incorporated, Dr. Lily Lee. President CEO of the Almond Group, Ms. Patricia Shinwi Zhao. From a Sindok company, we have Mr. Dory Howe. PEZA investment promotion partners across the country from Dubai, UAE, Saudi Arabia, London, Middle East, Southeast Asia, and Calabarzon. We welcome you to today's Investment Recognition Day. We also would like to acknowledge Seagull Philippines, the author of the PEZA recently launched PEZA Coffee Table book, Ms. Bing Carrion, and our investment promotion partner, Mr. Dieter Ocampo. That completes the list, and we are excited later for the recognition of our awardees, and we can't wait any further. Magandang hapon po and good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Sir Alim.
Now, to give us her welcoming remarks and to report on PEZA's performance and programs, let us welcome on stage our visionary, strong-willed, and ever-dynamic Director General, Bijen Charito B. Plaza, MNSA, PhD.
Thank you very much. May I recognize our very honorable and special guest of honor and keynote speaker, Department of Trade and Industry Secretary, our boss and Chairman of the PEZA Board, Ramon M. Lopez, sir. Her Excellency Angki Rai Kanstua, the Ambassador of Germany to the Philippines, who's joining us online. We have Commissioner Yvette Contacto, our good friend and Commissioner of the PACC, to the PEZA board members, the heads of our partner industry associations, foreign chambers of commerce and industry, and the members of the diplomatic corps, our esteemed awardee locator companies, for whose honor we are all gathered today, our PAPIPs, the PEZA Investment Promotion Partners, our beloved peasants, my deputies, Director Generals, Deo Panga, Nori Tanyag, and we miss physically JP Yushinko. Ladies and gentlemen, a very pleasant afternoon to all of you. It is my great honor to welcome all of you to the 2021 Investors Recognition Day. During these almost 2 years of intermittent lockdowns and quarantine restrictions, it is not often that we get the opportunity to gather together and personally recognize the achievements of our most valued locator companies. Hence, I am elated and most delighted
to see all of your faces today. These past 2 years have not been easy for all of us. We have been hit hard by this pandemic, especially our industries who have to sustain their operations despite the lockdowns. And at the same time, have to be worried of all the risk the COVID-19 virus poses to the health and safety of their workers. This is why I am astounded by how you were able to keep the economy going while protecting the welfare of our workers. And it is for this reason that we are all here gathered today to thank you and congratulate you for a job well done. It is also through you, our beloved investors, that the Philippine Economic Zone Authority is able to step up and deliver its services one notch higher. Seeing your contributions to our economy and to the lives of millions of Filipino people inspires us to be of better service to you. Through our combined efforts, the PEZA family continues to grow from only 16 economic zones since PEZA started in 1995. We now have a total of 413 economic zones nationwide. These economic zones are currently hosting 4,670 locator companies whose investments and reinvestments have totaled to a whopping 4.018 trillion pesos for the last 26 years. As far as exports are concerned, the export revenues of locator companies in the zones have reached 916.53 billion US dollars and counting. It's also very much mentioning that from 2007 to 2020, PEZA's exports constituted an average of 64% of the total Philippine commodity exports. I can confidently say that no other government agencies aside from PEZA can contribute this huge export receipts for the country. It is also the very fabric of PEZA's existence to bring development to every Filipino family by creating sources of livelihood and income. PEZA has been ardently pursuing these last 26 years. In fact, 1,725,855 jobs have since been created by PEZA's Economic Zone program. This refers only to direct employment. If we take into account the other economic activities spurred by the presence of the economic zones and export companies in the locality, we can multiply the figure 5 times, or a total of 8,629,275 jobs were created. And if these directly and indirectly employed workers are breadwinners supporting a family of 6, this means, therefore, that 24 million Filipinos, or 1 out of 5 Filipinos, are positively affected by PEZA's Economic Zone program. I would also like to take this opportunity to reiterate that PEZA continues to institute its balancing acts in keeping the economy afloat and helping our workers retain their jobs, while at the same time taking every measure possible to ensure the health and safety of our workers in the economic zones. To complement the workplace protocols implemented by our companies, and ensure continuous and unhampered operations. PEZA released various business assistance and reprieves to support them during this time of the pandemic. We have made it our utmost priority to extend the maximum assistance possible in helping our locators cushion the adverse impacts of the COVID-19 situation. These measures I have mentioned before, but I would like to mention again, such as the temporary suspension of the requirement to hold operations inside the economic zone for up to 90% of the company's workers, allowing the establishment of temporary workplaces outside economic zones, which we call as pop-up centers, and the deduction of COVID-19 related expenses from the 5% GIT. This deduction, I have been told, is a huge help to our companies as it is now normal for them to spend millions of dollars every year on the health and safety protocols they have put in place for their employees. This is also why we have added another category for this PEZA's Excellence Awards we are giving out today. Since last year, we have been giving out the COVID-19 Response Award. It is our own small way of thanking you and recognizing your efforts. I would also like to take the opportunity to share the PEZA's often cited, not only locally, but also worldwide, for the best practice among economic zones worldwide. Continuously, the IFC World Bank says that under PEZA, the Philippines has shown dramatic improvements in investment climate, and in effect, PEZA is a shining example of a successful regulatory reform improving overall investment climate in the country. And recently, the US Department of State has likewise loaded PEZA in its official 2020 investment climate statements. And according to their statement, the business environment is notably better within the special economic zones, particularly those available to export businesses operated by PEZA, which is known for its regulatory transparency, no red tape policy, and a one-stop shop service for investors. PEZA was also awarded during the 2020 FOI or Freedom of Information Awards with a special citation conferred to government agencies who have exemplified an untiring dedication and commitment to the FOI program during the COVID-19 pandemic by keeping its channels of information open and active to the public. And very recently, during the 2021 World Investment Forum last October, PEZA has joined the Global Alliance of Special Economic Zones, which was formed by the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. The alliance, composed of 8 economic zone authorities and free zone associations from across the globe, aims to bring together major economic zone players worldwide to enhance global networking in the facilitation of trade and investment promotion and exchange best practices and innovations in modernizing economic zones. PEZA indeed has come a long way. However, much remains to be done. Like those who have come before us, we must not rest on our laurels. More than the recognition and accolades, we must always remind ourselves of the real reason why we are here. And that is to serve our fellow Filipinos to the best of our ability. This is why PEZA never stops growing. and developing new and innovative ways in which we can further improve our system and deliver services above and beyond our sworn mandate. With this in mind, PEZA has come up with a transformation roadmap, which we hope to attain and sustain for the next decades. We do not only seek to promote investments to the economic zones, but more importantly, to address, in collaboration with other government bodies, the efficiency factors that expanding multinational companies are considering in making their investment decisions. Addressing these efficiency factors calls for a holistic government and society approach in development. We must strive for the continual improvement of the ease of doing business in the country, lowering the cost of production, completing the local supply chain, the establishment of more logistics and transportation hubs, and the improvement of public works infrastructures, as well as the IT infrastructure. In so doing, we hope to graduate from an import and consumption-driven economy to one that is export, production, and manufacturing-driven, thus making the Philippines self-reliant, self-sustaining, and resource-generating. With our overarching goal of fully industrializing the Philippines and enhancing the country's efficiency and competitiveness. As an ideal investment haven in Asia, PEZA continues to adopt its philosophy of thinking global and acting local. First, we continue to promote the creation and development of more world-class economic zones in every province in the country. And in line with President Duterte's Administrative Order 18, which aims to accelerate rural progress through the robust development of special economic zones in the countryside, we continue to partner up with the different local government units in harnessing the potentials of our land by utilizing the millions of hectares of idle lands and turning them into green, healthy, and sustainable economic zones. Over the decades, we have witnessed how third-class municipalities become first-class municipalities and cities due to the vibrant and thriving economic activities spurred by the presence of an economic zone in the locality. Therefore, our goal is to recreate these pockets of development in every municipality, province, and in every region in the country. According to the land's potential, we are introducing new types of economic zones, such as the halal hubs and production zones, the island cities, which will house the capital cities of the world as a tourism destination, defense industrial complexes, agroforestry economic zones, aquamarine economic zones, and lately, the knowledge, innovation, and science and technology parks we offered to our state and private universities and colleges nationwide. We envision economic zones to be the drivers of development in every region, integrating the industrial, commercial, and residential components towards creating townships and new metropolitan areas where located companies and workers can work, live, learn, and play. It is in the same vein that we have started the redesigning and transformation of our 4 public economic zones. We aim to turn the Cavite Economic Zone, Mactan Economic Zone, Baguio City Economic Zone, and Pampanga Economic Zone into model ecozones and townships that are digitalized, green, healthy, sustainable, and smart. We envision a mixed-use development which integrates industrial, commercial, and residential areas and we hope will be replicated in the other PEZA registered economic zones. To ensure the safety and welfare of our employees and locator companies, PEZA has also partnered with the Armed Forces of the Philippines for its reservist program. The Philippine Air Force and PEZA signed a memorandum of agreement making PEZA as a Philippine Air Force Affiliated Reserve Unit, or a PAFARO. This allows both PEZA and its stakeholders to become responders during disasters, calamities, emergencies, war, and in nation building, keeping our economic zones safe and secure. And for added security, we have installed here at the head office an incident command center, which will help us monitor the safety and security in our economic zones. And this is linked with the NDRRMC, the Philippine National Police, the Armed Forces of the Philippines, and other agencies responsible in monitoring disasters, calamities, and emergencies. Second, we continue to strive to improve the overall competitiveness of the country. In terms of ease of doing business, cost competitiveness, and maintaining a conducive business environment in the ASEAN region, wherein the competition to foreign direct investment is very steep. We bank on our highly sought after workforce, investor-friendly policies, and the low cost of the factors of production to give us comparative advantage over our neighboring countries. To elevate our investment promotion efforts, we have come up with the CAPIPS program, or the PEZA Investment Promotion Partnership Program, which aims to build working relationship and strengthen partnership with business chambers, industry associations, non-government organizations, socio-civic groups, and other government bodies in the marketing of PEZA's economic zones and PEZA's investment promotion programs locally and worldwide. We have also created the Global Biz with PEZA, a monthly per-country investment forum wherein various stakeholders meet to discuss investment opportunities in the economic zones. It also serves as a venue for dialogue, forging of partnerships, and networking among the trade and investment promotion players in the local and international scene. In terms of ease of doing business, we continue to think of innovative ways through which we can improve our services, especially during this time of the pandemic. I am happy to report that we have recently rolled out the PEZA electronic payment and collection system, a more accessible, convenient, and efficient way to perform transactions and settle PEZA's fees. Using this e-payment system, our clients can now pay their PEZA fees wherever and whenever using their mobile wallet, credit or debit cards, bank transfer, or with over 80,000 payment counters nationwide. In addition, just last week, we have inked a partnership with the Bureau of Immigration on the issuance of the PEZA visa. The PEZA visa will now replace the 4782 visa, which we have been issuing to foreign nationals employed by PEZA companies, their immediate family members, and this will be valid for 2 years. Since the processing of visas will now be just between PEZA and the Bureau of Immigration, the turnaround time for the processing of visas will be shortened from 30 days to only 10 days. And just yesterday, we have signed a memorandum of understanding with Meralco on the issuance of the electronic certificate of final electrical inspection, or as ECFEI for PEZA companies. The Certificate of Final Electrical Inspection or CFEI, which is a document usually issued by the local government unit, but under PEZA's one-stop shop, is being issued by PEZA's Office of the Building Official, is submitted to Meralco to ensure that electrical wirings were inspected and found to be code compliant. Under the MOU, PEZA can now submit an advance list of the approved CFEIs to Meralco through electronic mail before the physical certificates are actually sent. This will shorten the delays in the submission and processing of CFEIs due to the pandemic's adverse effects on business, process, and mobility. Aside from this, PEZA is now embarking into the full automation of its services geared towards regionalization. As we are ramping up our operations, it is also necessary that we have to beef up as an organization. We are currently working on a new compensation and position classification system of PEZA, which we are hoping to bring closer to our people nationwide the services of PEZA. We seek the guidance and support of our chair of the PEZA board, Secretary Lopez, for the President's approval. Today also marks a very special occasion in PEZA's history. This afternoon, we will be launching PEZA's new branding. Those covered with white clothes, these are PEZA surprises, PEZA's new branding. So I am happy to announce that later we will be unveiling PEZA's new logo, a logo that best represents PEZA's dynamism, innovativeness, and ingenuity as an organization. We will also launch the new and improved PEZA website, the Innovator Statue, and the new PEZA Excellence Award trophies. We'll also give you a glimpse of the new PEZA Business and Investment Center, a 13-story state-of-the-art building that will serve as our permanent headquarters. And lastly, we'll provide a preview of the earlier mentioned e-payment and collection system and the PEZA Visa. These are just some of the new and exciting developments in PEZA. I'll refrain from saying anything more so as not to preempt our announcements later. So in closing, let me once again express our heartfelt gratitude to all our industry partners and other stakeholders for the continuing trust and confidence you bestowed on PEZA, as well as for the undying support you provided to our locator companies. We will never tire of thanking you for holding on to PEZA and the Philippines. We continue to press on, knowing that you're here working alongside us. And for our awardees tonight, we are all very proud of you. Congratulations for being the shining examples of what good corporate citizens should be, especially during these hard times. May you continue to reap successes not only for your respective industries, but also for the entire country. Now, as we traverse the last months of the Duterte administration, we proudly look back at what we have accomplished so far. But still, I can't help but be more excited with what the next years have in store for PEZA. I can assure you that whatever may be thrown our way, PEZA will remain as your most avid, stalwart, and vigilant ally. You are the main reason why we are here and why we do what we do. Once again, please receive our deepest thanks and sincerest congratulations. And together, let us promote our battle cry, Galing Pinas, Galing Pinas. Made in the Philippines are best, and the Philippines is best to invest in. So may I join everybody to please stand so we can exercise our legs. Please join me in saying our battle cry, Galing Pinas, Galing Pinas. Maraming salamat.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Didi, for the updates and a very insightful outlook of PEZA.
Indeed, the pandemic cannot stop us from performing our mandate to promote investments, generate exports, and create employment by attracting more investors in the country. Again, let us give her a big round of applause.
We are glad to be with you today as we unveil and launch several of PEZA's special projects under the PEZA Transformation Roadmap. May we request Director General Plaza and the Deputy Director General, as well as our guest of honor, DTI Secretary Ramon Lopez, to do the honors in unveiling the following.
Let us first unveil the design of the new PEZA Business Center, which is set to be built at the old PEZA building in Almeda, Rojas Boulevard, corner San Luis Street, Pasay City. And let's all do the countdown. In 3, 2, 1. Let's all give a round of applause, please. To further explain on this new business center of the Philippine Economic Zone Authority, let us watch this short presentation.
PEZA, the Philippine Economic Zone Authority, continues to forge partnerships, create more Philippine ecozones, and promote sustainable development in the midst of a global crisis. To help accelerate these areas of growth, we envision a new home for the government agency, a world-class business center that represents sustainable development and continues to forge industry excellence, create more Philippine ecozones. Our design inspiration comes from the balangay, a symbol of Filipino ingenuity in finding ways to thrive and form strategic partnerships through trade for the government agency. The building's foundation and podium level were derived from the balangay's main body, supported by the kati and batangan, while the building's facade world-class business center that represents sustainable development and a center for industry excellence. Our design inspiration comes from the balangay, a symbol of Filipino ingenuity in finding ways to thrive and form strategic partnerships through trade. The building's foundation and podium level were derived from the balangay's main body.
moving into the future. Once again, our Director General, our DDGs, and of course, our guest of honor, to please come forward and do the unveiling of our flag and logo. Again, together, let's do a countdown for the unveiling of the logo in 3, 2, 1. And there you have it, our new PEZA logo and flag. Again, we would like to ask you to draw your attention on the screen at the front for this short presentation.
The Philippine Economic Zone Authority
Again, we would like to ask you to draw
is embarking on a new milestone. For 26 years, we have always been steadfast in our mandate.
Here are the elements of our logo. As a logo is projected at same level with tranquility and community. The red arrow symbolizes as passion and energy, the unity of purpose. Then goals 2,000 of globally competitive software lions has been resource generation. Progress, jobs, livelihood, technology, innovation, and better stewardship for the environment, and advancement of economic welfare. It represents the blue growth strategy, emphasizing the reduction of social and environmental risks and insufficiencies as well as different types of. The navy blue 8-tooth gear represents the mass is an active contributor to the global supply and value chain.
the country to enhance its competitiveness as an investment case of Asia. Royal Blue Pillars. Pink is for the ease. The third pillar symbolizes and empowerment boosts LGUs and communities towards inclusive development. For global export and domestic investments, as well as technology transfer and innovation. Green Plains represents renewable energy, mineral processing economic zones. It also symbolizes environmental consciousness and responsible utilization of natural resources. Three yellow stars represents PEZA's core values: love of God, love of country, and love of our people. We also proudly present PEZA's new flag. Strategic investment location with feasible logistics and transportation hubs to ensure one-stop, non-stop shop operations. Our new PEZA flag symbolizes our undivided services and operations to continuously attract investors from all over the world. As one, as a family, we will continue fulfilling our mandate
and embrace the future with our battle cry, Galing Pinas, Galing Pinas.
Thank you very much for that. Truly, we are changing for the better, not only today, but in the years to come. And now, let us focus on the screen and watch short video presentations as we launch today the new PEZA website.
A brand new look. An all-new and innovative online experience. For our future and existing investors, locators, developers, and clients. More enriched content. More user-friendly. Faster information searches. Easy to download application, report, and registration forms. Want to explore more? Visit us at www.peza.gov.ph.
PEZA, your investment destination in Asia.
The PEZA e-payment collection system.
Introducing PEZA's newest payment service, the Philippine Economic Zone Authority's electronic payment and collection system. In partnership with iPay MYEG Philippines Incorporated, market leader in electronic solutions championing government services online automation. An easier, convenient, and safer way for members to pay fees and transactions. Through this partnership, PEZA is now able to provide its members a safe and efficient online payment facility to conveniently settle and pay various fees, which includes advance payment, fines and penalties, administration fees, import cargo processing fee, registration application fee, start of commercial operation application fee, expansion of production capacity application fee, letter of authority processing fee, constructive or indirect export processing fee, availment of incentives processing fee, certification or true copies processing fee, footnote, PEZA seal, and new project application fee. With numerous payment options available, such as credit or debit cards, GCash, bank transfer, or via 80,000 plus cash payment counters nationwide. Aligned with the vision of a digital Philippines, this new e-government payment solution provides PEZA registered clients, our enterprises, our developers, and our clients as a whole with a more efficient, accessible, convenient, and safer way to settle and pay for their fees and transactions securely and swiftly. In partnership with MYEG, this newly acquired online payment system will ease transactions and improve the overall experience of its members. The Philippine Economic Zone Authority, your investment destination in Asia.
We are also launching today the PEZA Visa.
Introducing the Philippine Economic Zone Authority Visa. In adherence to Republic Act 11032, or the Ease of Doing Business and Efficient Government Service Delivery Act of 2018, the Philippine Economic Zone Authority Director General Charito B. Plaza signed the Memorandum of Agreement and its implementing rules and regulations with the Bureau of Immigration Commissioner Jaime H. Morante on November 18, 2021 for a faster and smoother issuance of PEZA visas. Through the signing of the Memorandum of Agreement and its implementing rules and regulations, this will now allow PEZA to issue working visas to foreign investors, non-resident foreign employees of PEZA-registered economic zone enterprises, and their respective qualified dependents. Starting this December 1, PEZA and the Bureau of Immigration are finally reducing the processing of visa facilitation and approval from 1 month to 10 days, which will greatly improve the government process. The signing of this Memorandum of Agreement and implementing rules and regulations is a major step forward to expand services through collaborations with like-minded institutions such as PEZA. The PEZA visas will serve not only to facilitate the conduct of businesses in PEZA registered economic zones, but also highlight the many measures that have been taken by the national government to ensure the ease of doing business throughout the country. With the Memorandum of Agreement and implemented rules and regulations in place, both agencies will establish a one-stop shop at the PEZA head office in Double Dragon Plaza, Pasay City, with corresponding personnel to expedite the processing, approval, and issuance of PEZA visas. PEZA visas shall be valid within and outside the registered economic zones, with 2 years of validity. This Memorandum of Understanding will ensure that the procedures and processes for monitoring the employment of foreign nationals are implemented properly and consistently. Here are some of the shots of the Philippine Economic Zone Authority and Bureau of Immigration, MOA, and IRR signing. And here's a look of the PEZA Visa Identification Card. And this is our PEZA Visa sticker. Philippine Economic Zone Authority, your investment destination in Asia.
Initiatives towards innovation and digitalization. This will play a vital role in PEZA's continued facilitation of the ease of doing business in its processes, especially in the economic zones. Lastly, but definitely not the least, we will unveil the Innovator Statue and Galing Pinas Excellence Trophy. Again, may we respectfully request our guest of honor, Secretary Ramon Lopez, and our Director General and our DDGs to please unveil our Innovator Statue. Again, let's do a louder countdown in 3, 2, 1. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, our Innovator Statue. And might we say that the Innovator Statue is also the inspiration for our Galing Pinas Excellence Trophies. We shall also unveil that. There you go. Those are the trophies that our awardees will receive today. To further explain on the symbolisms of our Innovator Statue, let's again request everyone to draw your attention to the screen in front of you.
26 years of operating as a top investment promotions agency in the country is not an ordinary feat. 26 years of growing, innovating, and partnering with local and foreign investors to provide the ease of doing business in the Philippines. 26 years of promoting investments, creating employment, and generating exports. PEZA has come a long way, but we have only just begun. Empowered by our world view of thinking global and acting local, PEZA is now more than ready to reach greater heights and face the future with conviction. Encapsulating PEZA's quest of industrializing the country, we proudly introduce PEZA's Public Zones Innovator Statue. Our Innovator Statue is iconic, smart, modern, natural. Our Innovator Statue represents the thinking man, looking into the future to innovate the present. The innovator's elements are gears, symbolize the factors of production, different industry sectors, and emerging technologies. Light bulb symbolizes innovative ideas. Thinking hand gesture symbolizes thinking of future plans. Artificial intelligence and fiber optics mean PEZA's adaptation to modern, smart, and future technologies. Rings represent strategic alliances and collaboration with industry partners and stakeholders. Drill bit is a tribute to Filipino ingenuity and Filipino workers as multi-skilled, multi-knowledge, highly productive, and world-class. GLOBE stands for globalization of our economy and industries. And a historical Balangay boat shows PEZA as a buoyant organization, dynamic and proactive with its quest for continuous improvement. The PEZA Innovator Statue encompasses our all-embracing goal of making the Philippines as the Asia and the world's leading investment destination. We are ready to face another 26 years and beyond. For more technological advancements and investment opportunities, we are ready for you.
Thank you very much. Surely there is no perfect time but now to continue in our efforts to innovate and develop for the future. We must not let this pandemic hinder us. Rather, we must seize the moment to help our country rise stronger than ever. Once again, let us give everyone a big round of applause.
Without further ado, let us now proceed to the much-awaited part of our program, the PEZA Excellence Awards, wherein we recognize the remarkable contributions and outstanding performance of our investors. Let us invite here on stage our guest of honor, DTI Secretary Ramon Lopez, our Director General, Charito B. Plaza, our Deputy Director Generals, Tereso Panga, and Attorney Norma Tañago, to join us here on stage to present the awards.
The first award we will be giving is the Outstanding Exporter Award. This award is given to a locator that accomplished outstanding performance in exports and is a good corporate citizen. This year, we will be recognizing 5 locator companies for the awards. Outstanding Exporter Awards are
Dyson Electronics Private Limited, Philippine Branch, represented by Mr. Richard Perez, the General Manager and Head of Global Manufacturing Excellence. With facilities at the Carmel Ray Industrial Park 2 Special Economic Zone, Dyson Electronics manufactures Dyson digital motors, vacuum cleaners, and other electrical apparatus. Thank you very much, Mr. Perez, and congratulations.
We also have Cebu Mitsumi Inc., represented by Admin Manager and Corporate Secretary, Ms. Delilah Martinez. Cebu Mitsumi engages in the manufacturing and production of various parts or apparatus for office, accounting, and computing machineries, radio, television, and communication equipment, and electrical machinery.
Next up, we have Continental Tamic Electronics Philippines Incorporated, represented by their General Manager, Mr. Peter Ranco. With facilities at the Light Industry Science Park 2 Special Economic Zone in Laguna, Continental Tamic manufactures automotive safety sensors, transmission electrohydraulic control modules, and other automotive products. Thank you very much, Continental Tamik. Thank you and congratulations.
Up next, we have Concentrix Services Philippines Corporation, represented by Mr. Amit Jaga, Senior Vice President and Country Leader. Concentrix engages in business process outsourcing, including call center operations in multiple sites all over Metro Manila, Laguna, Naga, and Cebu.
Next up, we have Optum Global Solutions Philippines Incorporated, represented by their Finance Director, Mr. Cecilio G. Castro Jr. With multiple sites in Cebu and NCR, Optum engages in information technology services, call center services, and back office operations. Thank you very much, Mr. Castro. Congratulations to all the winners. For our next award, the Outstanding Employer Award is given to a locator that generated the most number of jobs, held high regard for the welfare of its workers, and maintained harmony between labor and management. This year, 6 locator companies have proven themselves worthy of this award. Our Outstanding Employer awardees are
Reed Elsevier Shared Services Philippines Incorporated, represented by Managing Director Mr. Mark Nguyen, who is joining us virtually for the event. Reed Elsevier engages in business process outsourcing, call center operations, and content production.
Next, we have Concentrix Services Philippines Corporation, represented by their Senior Vice President and Country Leader, Mr. Amit Jaga. Accepting the award is Mr. Aldrin Dulig. This is the second award for Concentrix Dash, which engages in IT BPO operations.
Up next, we have Concentrix CVG Philippines Incorporated, again represented by Senior Vice President and Country Leader, Mr. Amit Jaga. With multiple sites all over Metro Manila, Cebu, Bacolod, Baguio, Davao, Laguna, and Clark, Concentrix CVG engages in call center and other IT-related operations.
Next up, we have JT International Asia Manufacturing Corporation, represented by their Finance Director, Mr. Eugene Kunzman. JT International engages in the manufacture of tobacco products.
Up next, we have ING Business Shared Services BV Branch Office, represented by Ms. Perdasil Carlos Messina, Chief Finance Officer. ING engages in operating, processing of financial product transactions and other related operations at the East Square IT Park in Bonifacio Global City, Taguig.
Next up, we have Brother Industries Philippines Incorporated, represented by their president, Mr. Hiroki Yamamoto, with facilities at the First Philippine Industrial Park, Special Economic Zone. Brother Industries engages in the manufacture of ink cartridges, multi-function printers, and spare parts. Congratulations to all the winners.
Now let us move on to our third main award, the Outstanding Community Project Award. It is given to a locator or developer that has strengthened its relationship with the community through meaningful CSR projects like scholarship programs, free medical and dental services, tree planting, gift giving, or similar pro-community projects. We will now be awarding 9 companies who have qualified for the award. Outstanding Community Project awardees are
Reed Elsevier Shared Services Philippines Incorporated, virtually represented by its managing director, Mr. Mark Lwin. This is the second award of Reed Elsevier, which operates various call centers and BPO sites in Iloilo and Quezon City.
also bagging its second award is the Brother Industries Philippines Incorporated, represented by their president, Mr. Hiroki Yamamoto. Brother Industries engages in the manufacturing of supply tapes for labeling and mold parts.
Another second awardee is JT International Asia Manufacturing Corporation, represented by their finance director, Mr. Eugene Kunstman. And the president, Mr. John. Mr. John Frida, the president of JT International. JT International's production plant is located at Lima Technology Center in Malvar, Batangas.
Up next, we have Philippine Center Corporation, represented by Vice President and Treasurer, Mr. Masahiro Mihara. Philippine Center manufactures sinter iron ore, burnt lime, and hydrated lime, and operates an 18.6 megawatts cogeneration plant, waste heat recovery power generation at the Fividec Industrial Estate Economic Zone.
Next up, we have On Semiconductor Philippines Incorporated, represented by Ms. Ann Cordero, their HR department manager. With facilities at the Golden Mile Business Park Special Economic Zone, On Semicon engages in the manufacture and assembly of radio, television communication equipment, and apparatus. Thank you very much, Ms. Cordero.
We also have Continental Themic Electronics Philippines Incorporated, represented by General Manager, Mr. Peter Ranko. This is the second award of Continental Themic, which manufactures parts for motor vehicles, trailers, and semi-trailers.
Next up, we have QBE Group Shared Services Limited Philippine Branch. Again, we have QBE Group Shared Services Limited Branch, represented by General Manager, Mr. Samir Kumar. With facilities in Cebu, Bonifacio, Global City, Taguig, QBE engages in IT-enabled business processing outsourcing operations.
Up next, we have Canon Business Machines Philippines Incorporated, represented by Ms. Marilu Diego from the Corporate Planning section. Canon Business Machines is located at the First Philippine Industrial Park, Special Economic Zone in Batangas, where it manufactures monochrome laser beam printers.
Next up, we have We Serve Systems International Incorporated, represented by Ms. Arlene Gregorio, Head of Philippines Global Delivery. We Serve engages in business application services, remote infrastructure management, service desk, and business process outsourcing. Congratulations to all the awardees. For our fourth main award, the Outstanding Environmental Performers Award is given to a locator that has institutionalized its environmental management system, complied with environmental regulations, and fostered partnership between the government and the industry in caring for the environment while simultaneously sustaining economic growth. For this award, we have 4 companies we will be recognizing this afternoon. Our Outstanding Environmental Performer awardees are
We Serve Systems International Incorporated, represented by Ms. Arlene Gregorio, Head of Philippines Global Delivery. This is the second award of We Serve, which has facilities at E Square Echo Tower and CBT ID Parks for its registered activity.
Next, we have Denso 10 Philippines Corporation, represented by their president, Mr. Takashi Niiho. Denso 10 is located at the Laguna Technopark Special Economic Zone, where it manufactures new models of car audio products, car electronic products, and electronic PCB assemblies, and global audio-visual navigation.
Bagging its third award for this afternoon is Brother Industries Philippines Incorporated, represented by President Mr. Hiroki Yamamoto. Brother Industries engages in the manufacture and assembly of various parts for office, accounting, and computing machinery.
Next up, we have TDK Philippines Corporation, represented by their president, Mr. Tamotsu Aiba. With facilities at Laguna Technopark, TDK Philippines engages in the production and manufacturing of various radio, television, and communication equipment and apparatus. Congratulations to all the awardees.
To continue, we will now move on to the special awards category. First up, we have the COVID-19 Response Award. This award will be given to PEZA registered enterprises and economic zone developer operators who were able to successfully establish policies and programs to avert the spread of the COVID-19 virus in the workplace. And the awardees are
TDK Philippines Corporation, again represented by the President, Mr. Tomotsu Aiba.
Up next, we have Brother Industries Philippines Incorporated, represented again by their president, Mr. Hiroki Yamamoto.
Next, we have We Serve Systems International Incorporated, represented by Ms. Arlene Gregorio, Head of Philippines Global Delivery.
Up next, we have Amcor Technology Philippines Incorporated, virtually represented by their president, Mr. Norberto Vieira.
Next up, we have Techlog Center Philippines, doing business as Asurion. We have We Serve Systems International Incorporated, represented. We have Techlog Center Philippines, doing business as Asurion, represented by their general manager, Mr. Edwin Go. Again, this is Techlog Center Philippines, doing business as Asurion, represented by general manager, Mr. Edwin Go.
Up next, we have Cognizant Technology Solutions Incorporated, represented by Assistant Vice President, Mr. Uchwaj Majumder.
Next up, we have Conduent Business Services Philippines Incorporated, represented by Mr. Rishi R. Pradhan, Vice President and Country Leader.
Up next, we have Continental Pemic Electronics Philippines Incorporated, represented by General Manager, Mr. Peter Ranco.
Next up, we have Denso 10 Solutions Philippines Corporation, represented by their president, Mr. Akira Matsuura.
We also have HSBC Electronic Data Processing Philippines Incorporated, virtually represented by President and Center Director, Ms. Patricia Bustillo.
Next up, we have Keppel Philippines Marine Incorporated, represented by their Senior Vice President, Mr. Mohammed Fadli bin Modamin.
Up next, we have Nestle Business Services AOA Incorporated, represented by NBS Manila Head, Ms. Arlene Azul.
Next up, we have Nexperia Philippines Incorporated, represented by Mr. Winston Uy, Head of Operations.
We also have Quantrix Enterprises Incorporated, virtually represented by Mr. Mark Worth, their president.
Next up, we have Teradyne Philippines Limited, virtually represented by their site director, Ms. Jacqueline Briones. There she is on the screen. Congratulations, Ms. Briones. And to the whole Teradyne Philippines Limited.
Up next, we have TI Philippines Incorporated, represented by Mr. Ralph Ruben Morales, Country Government and Public Affairs Director.
Congratulations to our awardees, and we thank you for your efforts to help PEZA and the whole government in our fight against the COVID-19 virus. Next and final award under the special awards category that we will be giving this afternoon is the Galing Pinas Award, in recognition of PEZA Enterprises' patronage of locally manufactured products, raw materials, and support to local suppliers. PEZA shall be giving this award to registered export enterprises substantially utilizing locally manufactured or produced and/or grown raw materials in their export products. And our awardees are
TI Philippines Incorporated, represented by Mr. Ralph Ruben Morales, Country Government and Public Affairs Director.
Next up, we have Epson Precision Philippines Incorporated, virtually represented physically by their Senior General Manager, Mr. Seiichi Nakanishi.
We also have NIDAC Philippines Corporation, represented by Vice President Mr. Atsushi Mukai.
Next up, we have Wukong Singapore Private Limited, virtually represented by Miss Diana Manalastas. There you have her on screen, Miss Diana Manalastas. Congratulations, ma'am.
Up next, we have Canon Business Machines Philippines Incorporated, represented by Ms. Erdrelyn Garbosa from the Corporate Planning section.
Next up, we have Cargill Oil Mills Philippines Incorporated, virtually represented by their general manager, Mr. Jonathan Sumpayco. There he is on screen right now. Congratulations.
We also have Del Monte Philippines Corporation, represented by Mr. Luis Alejandro, Chief Operating Officer.
Next up, we have Pilipinas Cow Incorporated, represented by their president, Mr. Kenji Omori. Congratulations to all our winners.
We have now come to the final set of awards, which we'll be giving to our enterprises, the Hall of Fame and the Billionaires Award. First, the Hall of Fame Award is given to three-time winners of the Outstanding Exporter, Outstanding Employer, Outstanding Community Project, and Outstanding Environmental Performer Awards. This year, we are elevating to the Hall of Fame three-time awardees for the Outstanding Exporter Award, one three-time winner for the Outstanding Community Project Award, and three-time winners for the Outstanding Environmental Award. For the Outstanding Exporter, we have in the Hall of Fame
ST Microelectronics Incorporated, represented by Dr. Antonio Villaflor, BEM and T Excellence Director. ST Microelectronics has been recognized consecutively in 2018 to 2020 for the Outstanding Exporter Award.
we also have BE Aerospace BV Philippine Branch, represented by Mr. Zandro Nazareth, Senior Manager for Logistics. BE Aerospace won the Outstanding Exporter Award in 2017, 2019, and 2020.
We also have Sutherland Global Services Philippines Incorporated, virtually represented by their country head, Mr. Deepak Nair. Congratulations, sir. Sutherland was a recipient of the Outstanding Exporter Award in 2017, 2018, and 2020.
For the Outstanding Community Project Award, we are elevating in the Hall of Fame one company, and that is no other than
Denso Philippines Corporation, represented by their president, Mr. Yuji Tori. Denso has been awarded consecutively in 2018 to 2020 for its outstanding community projects.
Finally, we are elevating in the Hall of Fame the companies for the Outstanding Environmental Performance Award.
First up, we have Canon Business Machines Philippines Incorporated, represented by Ms. Jeneline Gandoza from the Environmental Planning section. Canon is an outstanding environmental performance awardee in 2016, 2019, and 2020.
Up next, we have Analog Devices General Trias Incorporated, represented by Managing Director, Mr. Edmundo Fortunado. Analog Devices has been a recipient of the Outstanding Environmental Performance Award in 2007, 2019, and 2020.
There he is on the screen. Congratulations, sir, and to Analog Devices General Trias Incorporated. Next, we have Samsung Electromechanics Philippines Corporation, represented by their president, Mr. Jong Oh Hong. Samsung has been recognized in 2018, 2019, and 2020 for their outstanding environmental performance.
For the last award today, 3 companies have qualified for the Billionaires Award, which is given to a company that exports at least $2 billion in any given year. And the Billionaires awardees are
Philippine Associated Smelting and Refining Corporation, or PASAR, represented by their General Counsel, Attorney Arvin Barrientos. Located at the Leyte Industrial Development Estate Special Economic Zone, PASAR engages in the manufacture of basic metals including copper cathodes, gold and silver in ore, selenium blister copper, and sulfuric acid.
We also have TI Philippines Incorporated, represented by Mr. Ralph Ruben Morales, Country Government and Public Affairs Director. TI Philippines, with world-class sites at the Baguio City and Clark TI Economic Zones, manufactures analog and embedded processing products that power electronics across every industry to help make the world smarter, safer, greener, healthier, and more fun.
Next up, we have Toshiba Information Equipment Philippines Incorporated, represented by their president, Mr. Jun Tito. With 2 sites at the Laguna Techno Park and Carmel Ray Industrial Park 1 Special Economic Zones, Toshiba Information Equipment manufactures hard disk drives, component parts and accessories, printed circuit boards, and engages in design and engineering services. Texas Instruments and Toshiba have also been recognized for the said award during the 2019 and 2020 PEZA Excellence Awards. Thank you very much, and congratulations once again to all the winners.
On behalf of PEZA, we would like to express our sincerest gratitude for your relentless efforts in helping us attain our goal of transforming the Philippines into a self-reliant, self-sustaining, and resource-generating investment haven in Southeast Asia. Once again, let us all give them a warm round of applause.
Now to congratulate our esteemed enterprises and give his message of solidarity, let us hear from our very own President, Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Due to prior commitments, the President sent his pre-recorded message and wishes to extend his sincerest congratulations to every one of our awardees today. Let us all watch this.
May you continue to foster a conducive investment climate for the country's economic progress. As you welcome another year, may you further contribute to our recovery efforts as we build a stronger and more prosperous nation. Happy anniversary, and I wish PEZA more success in the years to come.
Thank you very much, President Duterte, for that wonderful message. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm round of applause again for President Duterte.
Also to give us his message of congratulations and support, let us hear from Senator Christopher Lawrence Bongo. Let's all direct our attention on the screen, please.
My warmest congratulations to Philippine Economic Zone Authority. Congratulations to all investors that will be recognized during today's Investors Recognition Day for their excellent accomplishments. As the COVID-19 pandemic struck our country over the past 2 years, we have been given an enormous task of getting through the challenging times without affecting much of the business processes. Our economy and our industries have indeed struggled in making ends meet amidst the global and local lockdowns and restrictions that have to be put in place. Yet, despite everything that we have been through, I am proud how you managed to persevere. I am happy that we are working together as we reopen our economy and recover the momentum we lost before the pandemic. As we gear towards better days ahead, I hope we continue the partnership forged between the government and our industries. President Rodrigo Duterte has always believed in strengthening our relationships so we can continue building more avenues for business that will truly benefit everyone. At gaya ng Pangulo, patuloy din akong makikipagtulungan sa inyo, lalo na sa usaping pang-ekonomiya. Kaya naman hangarin ko na maipagpatuloy ang kanyang nasimulan para sa ikabubuti at ikaunlad ng ating bansa. Magtulungan tayo at magbayanihan. Naniniwala ako na ito ang tanging paraan para mas paigtingin pa natin ang pag-angat ng negosyo at pamumuhay ng mga Pilipino. Maraming salamat at mabuhay kayong lahat.
Give them a round of applause. Thank you very much for your message, sir. For the next part of our event this afternoon, we would like to invite again on stage our Director General, Bijan Charito Plaza, to introduce our guest of honor and keynote speaker.
Our wonderful Secretary of the Department of Trade and Industry, Ramon M. Lopez, is also the chairman of the PEZA board. His extensive government experience with the Presidential Management Staff, or the PMS, the DTI, and the National Economic Development Authority in the early part of his career provided him with a solid background on macroeconomic and industry development that allowed him to adopt a more holistic trade approach when he moved to the private sector and became a top executive of a major Philippine food and beverage company for over 23 years. As a strong advocate for free entrepreneurship education for 12 years, he was called to serve the country again under President Rodrigo Roa Duterte's administration as our DTI Secretary. He chairs several institutions under DTI, such as the Board of Investments, the Cagayan Economic Zone Authority, the Small Business Corporation, the Philippine Economic Zone Authority, the National Development Corporation, the Export Development Council, Halal Board. He also supervises attached agencies such as the Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines and the Cooperative Development Authority. He has received several awards such as the Honorary Agora in Nation Building Award in 2018, the 2016 Nation Builders Award for Government Service for his role as the prime mover in micro, small, and medium enterprises development, and the Philippine Innovation Man of the Year Award in 2017. For the promotion of social entrepreneurship through innovation in 2018, he received from President Duterte the Order of Sikatuna with the rank of Dato, one of the senior honors one can receive in the Philippines. Our guest speaker has a bachelor's degree in economics from the University of the Philippines and topped his master's degree in the development economics class of Williams College, Massachusetts. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give a warm of applause to the Secretary, Ramon M. Lopez.
Maraming salamat, DG. Thank you very much for that kind introduction. It's amazing afternoon, isn't it? And thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Congratulations, PEZA, on the 26th year, led by a very dynamic, hardworking DG. Palakpakan po natin si DG Team Plaza. And of course, all the officials, the Deputy Director Generals, ABG, and all the staff of and officials of the Philippine Ecozone Authority. And of course, following our leaders, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, their inspiring message to the authority, followed by another hardworking senator na kung saan may sunog, if there are places stricken by calamities or disasters, he's always there, si Senator Bongo. Talaga napakasipa. I cannot really imagine how he moves around quickly several provinces just in one day, going to the victims of all these calamities. So amazing and really inspiring leaders. They're really public servants. Again, it's really a great afternoon seeing all the exporters. First of all, I'd really like to congratulate all the exporters here, the awardees, a part of the PEZA family, all those located in PEZA. Palakpakan po natin kayong lahat. You all deserve the awards that you got. You are really the inspiration of the economy moving forward, and you are the reason why the country, as of the third quarter, experienced a 7% growth, 12% growth in the second quarter, no? And then year to date, we are 4.9% growth for GDP. You're the reason why our country experienced already a year to date September 20% growth in exports. And amazingly, the level of exports that we have for 2021 year to date September is even higher now than the pre-pandemic level of by 5%. So that means a full recovery. Palakpakan po sa kayo po 'yon. After hearing the presentation, several presentations and the numbers that we saw earlier, mentioned by the Director General, 64% accounted by the exporters in PEZA. Congratulations to Senyo. You are really the reason behind these numbers. So, of course, I'd like to also extend my greetings to the members of the Diplomatic Corps. We heard that Her Excellency, Anker Reiten Stuhl, Ambassador, Embassy of Germany, is with us. Of course, all the Deputy Director Generals as well, Mr. DDG Teo Panga, JP Yusinko, and Mr. Matanya. At all our partners from the private sector, institutional partners. We heard SAFE was here earlier. Dan La Chica, the ITBPM group, ITBPAC, Jack Madrid, and Ms. Celeste Ilagan also. And of course, our esteemed PEZA investors, whose honor this occasion is being held every year. So again, good afternoon, everyone. It is indeed an astounding honor to welcome every one of you to the PEZA Annual Investors Recognition Day. First of all, I wish to commend the management of PEZA, headed by our dynamic leader, Director General Ching Plaza, and her deputies for its relentless efforts in performing its mandate, promoting investments, generating experts, and creating employment even during this time of the pandemic. You've heard also all the awards received by PEZA. Congratulations. Even in the middle of the pandemic, foreign investors continue to stand by the Philippines and invest in mid to long-term strategic projects. And this is, of course, thanks to our various investment promotion agencies, including PEZA. Cumulative FDI, if I mentioned some numbers earlier on exports, that's backed up also by, the FDI, foreign direct investments, as of August, post a $6.4 billion cumulatively FDI level, which was 40% higher than last year. And no surprise because it's a pandemic year last year, but it's also even 36% higher than 2019 pre-pandemic level. So it's really a different name, a higher notch, really, that we are, of FDI that we are seeing this year. We are not the kulelat, the last placer, as many critics would always say. In fact, in Southeast Asia, we are the fourth largest recipient of FDI. In the previous, in previous years or period, we were number 6. We're the 6th. Now we are the 4th. Next only to, of course, the Singapore, the high populated Indonesia, and of course the Vietnam, which is a neighbor of China. So Philippines comes after. So it's really, a very good performance. Again, it's something that's really higher, not only versus last year, but even prior to the start of the pandemic in 2019. With great pride, and by the way, before I proceed, I must mention also that I guess one of the reasons why we were able to catch up and perform better in exports, even better than pre-pandemic. I remember that early this year, even when the country was forced to go under ECQ, we were doing very well in managing the COVID. We went down to what we call GCQ, a very low quarantine level. But back in March, which repeated sometime July, we had a series of ECQ, if you remember, so heightened restriction once again. But we made sure that export industries, together with ITBPM, would continue to have 100% operating capacity. That is what I made sure in the IATF. We protected it. We want to make sure that you deliver all your commitments to your clients abroad and allow you 100% operations. And of course, to the extent that you can do work from home arrangements, we were encouraging that. But obviously, if you're in a production setting, many would be really physically reporting. But for the ITBPM sector, we allowed up to 90%, for example, and that policy continued. I understand there's, of course, a request from PEZA, which we were able to accommodate, but up to the 90%. And in fact, that 90% has been extended up to March. It's not only up to December, but up to March. And it depends if there's a state of calamity still continuing, we'll have to determine if we will continue to extend up to 90% work from home. But as we are seeing right now, there's less and less of the work from home as people are encouraged to report back to work. And to a certain extent, I guess to a bigger extent, it can also help pump prime the economy around the physical offices. So it's really good also to be back to physically present in the offices, as it helps also the businesses around those offices, the restaurants and other service industries around your offices. So let's see where it goes. But I think with these cases, high vaccine rollout, lower COVID cases, new medicines, it really increases our confidence level, consumer confidence, business confidence, that we are really heading towards a good recovery, continuous recovery. To the extent that we follow minimum public health protocol, and with all this treatment, I think we are converting already the pandemic from pandemic to endemic. And there'll be cures, and there will be changes again in our protocol moving forward. One would be the quarantine period, for example, for travelers, as you have been seeing, we continue to adjust and shorten and shorten. We have much shorter quarantine period compared to other countries. So we're also happy to report that, of course, we're not happy that lives were claimed by the COVID, but to a certain extent, also the levels that we have are much better in terms of deaths per 100,000. Our numbers are, I think, in the 41, but the other more developed countries are usually 5 times more, much higher. And even the COVID cases per 100,000, we would always be just about from 1/5 to 1/10 in terms of cases. And that's because the reason why we had, I guess, a strict lockdown at the start, we were really trying to protect lives. I mean, lives, to many Filipinos, that's #1 priority for us. So health really took primacy over economy, so to speak. But we were balancing it. And over time, as we learned to manage the virus, we started to reopen where we can, gradually, calibratedly. And that's the reason why where we are today, I would say we're able to manage the virus pretty well. Over time, even the assessment and the ranking given by other institutions have credited the Philippines for managing the virus very well and balancing it with the economy. And 7.1% growth in the third quarter, really the fastest in the region for the third quarter. No? So again, it's the Philippines balancing it and balancing and managing the health side, but at the same time now experiencing a very good rebound, as shown in the third quarter. And September, if you remember, was still a period when restrictions are a bit higher, still heightened. We started to move to alert level 3 and then 2. Started to reopen more sectors in the economy starting October. So I was saying that we're thinking that really the best is yet to come. And the October figures are not yet reflected in the numbers we're seeing. So I was talking to some colleagues, and whenever we are asked about what we think of the future, of course there's always, as we say, cautious optimism. You're expecting some speed bumps along the way. But again, because of developments like the vaccine rate, that higher vaccine rate, I would say, sabi ko sa kanya, I was telling them, remove the cautious already. Let's just be optimistic. Because I think starting October will even be better. And I mentioned earlier, year to date, we're 4.9. If our target is 5% for the full year, we only have to hit 5.3% in the fourth quarter. and we'll hit the 5% for 2021. If we hit 7% in the fourth quarter, we will hit 5.5% for the full year. And that's doable. And if we hit 5.5% this year, next year we only have to hit 4.8%, 2022, to be able to reach the GDP level of 19.3 trillion pesos in 2019. That's the pre-pandemic. So we'll be back on track by 2022, maybe second or third quarter. And as you also know, for 2022, our target is not only 4.8. Our target is somewhere in the vicinity of 6 to 7%. So there's really a very, very high likelihood, probability that we will really be back on our track, back to the 2019 level by 2022. So some piece of good news and something to look forward to, no, and be excited about. And then, so this, with great pride, again, I'm happy that PEZA approved January to September 2021 period, a total of 189 new and expansion projects, which is expected to bring in about 51.2 billion pesos, $1.8 billion of exports, and create 27,935 direct employment. This data greatly add to our GDP that is continuously posting a positive growth, showing that we are already bouncing back from the effects of the pandemic as we maintain a path towards economic recovery. Our bayanihan spirit is needed to attain our goal for the Philippines and our countrymen. This, of course, would not be possible without the continued trust and confidence of our export enterprises, all of you here. We are helping, who are helping to keep our economy afloat. With this, we are gathered here today to recognize the valuable contributions our ecozones and our investors to the country's socio-economic growth and development. So I would like to extend my sincerest congratulations to each and every one of you for your tremendous efforts, especially during this time of the pandemic. The awards of excellence, which PEZA has given out today, and in mas maganda pa sa Oscars award itong trophy ninyo, better than the Oscars awards trophy. It is just one way for us to show our greatest appreciation to all of you. We look forward to our stronger collaborations and furthering our efforts to promote Galing Pinas. Okay, did I pronounce it right? Okay, from the Philippines, and you know, the strength and the high quality products from the Philippines. Let us continue to make it happen in the Philippines. Thank you. Mabuhay po kayo. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much for your message, Secretary Ramon Lopez. Again, let us give them a warm round of applause.
May we request our Secretary Ramon Lopez to please remain on the stage, and may we request our Director General and our Deputy Director Generals to present the token of appreciation to our keynote speaker. This token is manufactured in one of the public economic zones, the Mactan Economic Zone.
And that concludes today's event. Again, we send our biggest thanks and appreciation to our guests and honorees who are here with us today, and those online for joining us for this year's Investors Recognition Day.
We are now inviting our distinguished guests and awardees here at the PEZA office and auditorium to enjoy a little bit of socials and refreshments while, of course, observing the COVID-19 protocols.
Again, thank you very much for your continuous support to PEZA and its initiatives.
Have a wonderful day ahead, and may God bless us all.
Thank you. Thank you again. Congratulations to our awardees. We also would like to take this opportunity, first and foremost, to greet DG Plaza. Happy birthday. DG, happy birthday. We also would like to acknowledge the team behind the success of this event. The head of the production team, VP Philip Radin. Philip, congratulations. The chief of the corporate communications division is Taslim Abdurraouf. Kasi, thank you very much. The chief of the investment promotion division, Raisa Arabito, and the one in charge for the protocol and consular affairs, DC Ana Malapat. Maraming salamat po to the entire team who worked behind this event, from the production to the corporate communication, MIS, ODG, and of course our host from Mactan Economic Zone, Jessica and Raymond. Maraming salamat po. Thank you very much, everyone. And we're inviting you for the refreshment outside. Good afternoon.